Good afternoon. I'm Ziggy and welcome to Ziggy's Rants. Well, today it's going to be a couple of rants in one. So the first one, as predicted, as I've said all along, Kate Forbes will not be running for the leader of the SNP to become First Minister. And as predicted, it's a coronation. John Swinney will be the nomination, the SNP's nomination to be First Minister, and he does have the votes to become First Minister. So it's settled, done and sealed, and it could be as early as next week when this is confirmed by Parliament that John Swinney is continuity number 2. Scotland, what a disaster. What another disaster. The man who destroyed education, got rid of Honest John, who deleted all his WhatsApp messages before the COVID inquiry when he was told not to. He's been the leader of the party before, but lost election after election and was kicked out and replaced by Alex Salmond. So he's been a disaster, and he is going to be a disaster for Scotland. So that's number one rant. The second rant, well, that's more on a personal level. I want to discuss some of the comments I've received, not just on here, but on Twitter as well, about, and I hear this quite often, why are you discussing politics? Why are you sticking your nose in Scottish politics? You're English. Why are you getting involved? It's got nothing to do with you. Well, I'll give you a bit of my background. I was born in the Isle of Wight. I was raised in Manchester for most of my life, but I have lived in Scotland for 27 years. I was christened in Scotland. My parents are Scottish. All my family are Scottish. I have ancestors, my Scottish ancestors, going back hundreds of years. So I am invested in Scotland. I have been all my life, but I've lived here for over 27 years. So I'm entitled to have a say and have a voice. And the reason I do this, the reason I've come into doing this, I started on Twitter because I, like many others, was a silent majority. But I couldn't stay silent anymore. I had to speak up and speak out, because someone has to speak out about the issues going on in Scotland. And all I was hearing was independence, independence, independence. It seemed to be the only conversation that we were having in Scotland with the media, with politicians, and with the general public. Since 2014, it's been independence, independence, independence. While the health service is on the brink of collapse, while education has just fallen and fallen and fallen and failed and failed and failed. It's got from one of the best educational systems in Europe to one of the worst, and one of dropping down the PISA scale year after year. Local issues, the local government, the budgets that the councils are getting, the potholes, the bin collection. There's so many issues, and a lot more serious issues with the drug deaths, with the alcohol problems, with the corruption, which has gone off the scale in the last 20 years that we've seen, and the mismanagement, the ferries, there's all so many different issues that we need to talk about, and independence is low down on that. So I started on Twitter and started doing just posts and threads about issues that I am concerned about. And then I started doing Twitter Spaces. Now I started listening in first, then I started speaking up in Twitter Spaces, then I started hosting them. And then I wanted to take it further. So I started getting politicians to come into Spaces and interviewing politicians and getting them speaking in and engaging on Twitter, in Spaces. So once I started doing that, I then decided I wanted to do a YouTube channel, which I started just about 8 weeks ago, to try and I want to interview the same politicians that I've interviewed in Spaces and more, and other political activists and other political people within Scotland on YouTube. And that's what I've started doing. I've interviewed like Mark Devlin from the Majority Show, David Griffiths from the Majority Show. I've interviewed Ewan Blockley, who is a Conservative, works within the Conservative Party. And I've interviewed Murdo Fraser. I've got an interview coming up with Liz Smith, MSP, and others, and some from the Labour Party. And I've got quite a few lined up to be interviewed. And obviously I want to get my own thoughts out there as well. So, and I'm not doing it I'm not doing it for, I don't want any kind of, I don't want money for it, for my channel. I don't want to charge anybody for it. I don't want to any kind of reward for this, any kind of money for doing this. I'm doing it because I feel it's important, and it's important to get my voice out there. All I want is people to subscribe to my channel, to share it, and to put the thumbs up if they like it, and leave plenty of comments. And I want comments whether you agree with me or not. I want people to tell me if you don't agree with me. Leave your comments if you don't agree with me. But I don't want the insults. You know, you can leave that. If you want to insult, go to the playground. That's where you can do the insults. You know, go to school and go to your playground. That's where you can do your insults. Leave your comments, debate it, tell me I'm talking nonsense, and explain to me why and your opinion. That's what I want. And that's what I'm trying to do with this channel and with being on Twitter as well. So that's who I am. That's what I am looking for. So please do engage, do share, and do subscribe so I can get a bigger audience. That's my background, and that's where that's why I want. I don't want to be a silent majority anymore. I want to speak my mind, and I think more should speak their mind. More of us should speak up now, because what we've got in this country at the moment is not it's not good enough. It's really not good enough. What we're seeing from our politicians, they are not listening to us. They are not fixing the local issues. They're not fixing the national issues. All we see is blame Westminster, blame England, blame everyone else but themselves. Lessons learned? No, they're not learning any lessons. They're just about to appoint another First Minister, continuity number 2. And it's same old, same old. The Greens will be running the show as usual. Don't kid yourself. They may not be in government, but they are in the background. They are the ones that have told Kate Forbes is not going to be the First Minister. The Greens stood up and said, we are not going to be voting for Kate Forbes. So don't even put her up for it. If you want our votes, you're going to have to it's going to have to be John Swinney. So, and now we have John Swinney. So the Greens are still running the show. We need to get these lot out and really do. And in the next 2 years, I'll be on here every day giving my view and putting my point of view and interviewing people and putting my point of view forward for everyone who wants to listen to. And I'll tell you this, I will not be harping on about independence. It will come up and it'll be spoken about, but it's not going to be the priority on my show. The priority in my show is going to be local issues. It's going to be national issues. It's going to be the health service. It's going to be education. It's going to be the budget. It's going to be the corruption. It's going to be holding this inept, terrible government to account. And then when we do get these vote these out, I'll be doing that with the next government, whoever it is. If it's Labour, if it's Conservative, I don't care who it is. I will be doing the same. I will be holding them accountable until we can get this country back running the way it should be run and start sorting out the issues we have and forgetting about independence, because that is not a priority. That's not anywhere near close to a priority of what we need to do to get this country running properly. So that's my rant over for today. Please leave your comments, please share it, and please subscribe so more people can get involved. And leave your comments. I like reading them, and I'll answer them when I can. I'll definitely be reading all of them. So please subscribe. So, but until next time, take care.